Alright, you're on figure transformations. And what I want to discuss is how percussion therapy can help with our rotation. So all too often we're kind of getting jammed up right around our tailbone area, coccyx. Everything kind of spirals out of there. So that's where we can kind of flex from our spine. It's where we, I don't want to say rotate from because it's our hips that should be rotating. Kind of spine staying somewhat stable. But we also, again, we need that rotation. When we become too tight, we start to lose our flexion, our extension, and our rotation. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rotate into this a little bit. I'm going to take the percussion gun. I'm going to target that high glute area up into the hip. This is where our glutes come right off of. Swoop down, attach to our femur. We don't realize how much our glutes play a pivotal role in our rotation. And because we tend to rotate the same way over and over and over again in our daily lives, I was always using this left leg to kind of reach for things. I'm much more stable on the left. And over the years, I started to become tighter on the right. And I realized the influence it started having. So I want to make sure when I'm doing movement patterns in my daily life that I'm making sure I'm switching it up enough. So now instead of kind of reaching with my left, I'm forcing myself to learn how to reach with my right. So the more we kind of understand what happens to our bodies and how these little things play a role, so we're doing the same thing on the right, we can begin to start to kind of unwind ourselves, if you will. The big thing is to make sure that we don't lose our flexibility. A lot of us, think everything is strength, strength, strength. We don't realize that our inflexibility also leads to that lack of strength because we can't get a good angle on the movement pattern anymore. So our body tries to figure something out, and then unintentionally it makes us tighter and tighter and tighter. So when I'm doing this, I just want to make sure I'm kind of working that whole glute region. And I kind of take a pigeon or duck stance, whatever you want to call it. I'm turning those feet in as much as I can, getting that hip to stretch. This is where women kind of benefit a lot more a little bit than men because they tend to kind of do that internal rotation a lot more than men. Men tend to externally rotate, and it has a huge impact on our lives later. This is why you see a lot of people with their feet externally rotated. Their glutes are just so tight, kind of pulling them out. And we don't understand that the tighter a muscle gets, in some ways the stronger it gets, but then it also restricts and limits our range of motion. And if we're not working enough stretching and mobility movement and just kind of understanding the movements that we need to do, we're all going to kind of run into some kind of issue. Well, I've always had a harder time rotating into my right side. And as a result of it, if we're doing something really quick, subconsciously, we know that in our body will automatically, I'll go to my left if I'm not thinking about it. Because my body's much more comfortable and I feel stronger doing it that way. This is why when we're exercising in the gym, or we're working with percussion therapy or whatever, we want to understand not only what our strengths are, but what our weaknesses are, so that we can begin to implement a plan to start to change that. The more we understand how we tighten and our muscles restrict our movement pattern, because they can work to help hold us up, but they can also pull us down. And once we understand that, we can begin to formulate better plans through exercise, percussion therapy, and making sure we're getting a broad spectrum of movements in different ways to keep us healthy and moving. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to ask. Thank you.